You know, we all think we know the great epics. The Mahabharata. It's this huge story of honor, war, duty. It's a cornerstone. But what if I told you there's a chapter that's been, well, hidden? A dark, absolutely terrifying secret that was buried on purpose. A secret that could completely flip how we see one of its most important characters.
Yeah, let's just put that right out there. That is the shocking question at the very heart of this story we're digging into. The idea that Draupadi, a woman we see as the symbol of resilience and virtue, was actually hiding a desire so dark it threatened to wipe out the heroes of the entire epic.
And this wasn't just, a moment of anger. No. The way this story is told, it was a full-blown conspiracy. A toxic secret born from jealousy and a thirst for revenge so powerful that even Kunti and the divine Krishna himself had to work to keep it under wraps, just to protect the Pandava brothers.
So let's start peeling back the layers on this incredible, lesser-known story. And to really get it, we first have to understand who Draupadi truly was, way beyond just the wife and queen we think we know.
Her name, Yajnasaini, tells you everything you need to know. She wasn't an ordinary mortal woman. She was literally born from a sacrificial fire. More than that, she was an incarnation of the goddess Kali. And that is the absolute key to this whole thing, because Kali represents both creation and total unstoppable destruction.
So you've basically got these two sides to her. On one hand, there's Panchali, the wife of the 5 Pandavas, a symbol of duty. But just under the surface, there's Mahakali, her divine, destructive form, a symbol of pure vengeance. And one day, a seemingly small, private incident caused that terrifying form to just erupt.
So how did this hidden anger finally get unleashed? You might think it was some big public humiliation, but nope. It was a private moment, a clash of egos that spiraled out of control and became a full-on divine crisis.
Okay, so here's the scene. It was Arjun's year with Draupadi. Bhima walks into their private chamber and finds Arjun, the great warrior, massaging her feet. Now for Bhima, this was just unthinkable, an act of total subservience, and his anger just exploded. He yells at Arjun, "Have you no shame?" And even when Yudhishthira, the oldest brother, tries to calm him down, Bhima's just too furious. He storms out into the forest, his pride completely shattered.
And this is where the story takes a sharp turn into the supernatural and the truly terrifying. Alone in the forest that night, a fuming Bhima sees something that is going to haunt him for the rest of his life.
So Bhima's hiding in the shadows, and suddenly the forest just changes. A divine assembly appears out of nowhere. We're talking the big guns. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they're all there. Then Lord Krishna himself appears. But the main event? That's Draupadi. She shows up, but not as Panchali. She's this colossal, terrifying goddess, holding a massive sword in one hand and an empty skull cup in the other.
Hidden there, trembling, Bhima hears her speak to Krishna, and her words are absolutely bone-chilling. She says, "Madhav, you told me to fill this cup with the blood of the Pandavas. I'll start with Bhima. His blood alone will pretty much fill it." That earlier insult from him had awakened the goddess inside her.
Lord Krishna, ever the master strategist, immediately jumps in to de-escalate. He calms the goddess down, reminds her of who she really is, and makes a new promise. Look, a great war is coming, Kurukshetra. You can fill your cup there with the blood of thousands of warriors. It's a brilliant move that satisfies her thirst for vengeance and gets the Pandavas off the hook, for now.
Okay, so the cat is out of the bag. Bhima knows that Draupadi, in her true form, wants them all dead. How in the world are they supposed to survive, living under the same roof with that kind of terrifying power?
Bhima is completely freaked out. He runs straight to the one person who can possibly understand what he just saw, Lord Krishna. He basically begs him for a way to save himself and his brothers. And Krishna, of course, comes up with this incredibly clever plan, one that uses Bhima's own personality and Draupadi's sense of duty against her.
The plan was just brilliant in its simplicity. Krishna tells Bhima, go home and do something totally out of character. Refuse to eat. He knows that after everyone else fails to get Bhima to eat, Draupadi will eventually come to him. And in that moment, when she's concerned, he has to use that opportunity to trap her with 3 unbreakable vows.
And it works like a charm. First, Bhima gets her to promise she'll give him whatever he asks. She figures he just wants some special food, so she says, "I promise." That's when he springs the trap. His second demand is for abhayadan, the sacred boon of safety, from her. She's stunned, but she's bound by her word. She agrees. And then he seals the deal, making it crystal clear. Promise you will never kill us. And her reply locks it in. You are all immortal.
So they're safe, but a goddess's vow, even one that's been redirected, doesn't just disappear. It has to be fulfilled. The story doesn't end there. The consequences of that night in the forest, they echo through the rest of the epic, and way, way beyond.
So what about that vow, you are all immortal? Well, according to this story, here's the twist. Only one Pandava actually entered heaven in his physical body, Yudhishthira. Why? Because after he saw her collecting blood during the Kurukshetra war, Draupadi granted him that boon directly, fulfilling the vow for him and him alone.
And the timeline of this vow is just incredible. It stretches across cosmic ages. It's made in the Dvapara Yuga. Then, during the war, she collects blood, but her cup is never truly full. Then the story claims that in the next age, the Kali Yuga, our current era, her soul is reborn as a princess who ends up dying with her vengeance still incomplete, her skull cup still waiting.
And what was the tiny seed that grew into this massive forest fire of destruction? This version of the story traces it all back to one single moment. When Duryodhana stumbled in the Pandavas' palace of illusions, it was Draupadi's laugh and her sharp insult, the son of a blind man is also blind, that planted the seed of hatred that would one day bloom into the apocalyptic war of Kurukshetra.
So, all of this leaves us with a pretty heavy question.